Well, I can't.
You ready?
Yep.
Well, Leap Day council meeting. Today is Thursday, February 29th. It's 4 o'clock. Please stand for the flag salute led by Ms. Baumiller.
I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
one nation
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with
free and
liberty
for all.
and justice for all.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building, on the borough website, and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mrs. Baumiller,
Here.
Ms. Lambert,
Here.
Mr. McCaffrey,
Here.
Ms. Snyder,
Here.
Mayor Davis.
Here,
I have the December 28th, 2023 agenda meeting minutes and the January 2nd, 2024 reorganization meeting minutes for your approval without formal reading.
Motion to approve? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure supported by a certification of availability of funds, and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 48, approving the certified list of eligibles for the Beach Haven First Aid Squad, LoSAP. I'm sorry. Oh, this is fire? Okay. Fire company. 73 is consenting to the issuance of amusement licenses for Wainwright Amusements for 2024. 74 is establishing the Architectural Advisory Committee for this year. No membership has changed. That remains the same. 77 is authorizing to advertise for bids for ice cream vendors. 78 is authorizing an application to the Department of Community Affairs for the 2024 recreation improvement. This is for Veterans Park. We're going to request $100,000 for landscaping, irrigation, and shade. 79, executing an agreement with Jetty Rock Foundation for the use of Veterans Park for Hop Sauce Festival. There for a couple of years, we got away from a negotiated contract. We were, since COVID, allowing them to use the fees that were part of the special event application. We're getting back to what we were doing prior. Mary Claire negotiated with them and solidified the contract that you reviewed prior to today. Resolution 80 is acknowledging the hiring of a finance clerk, Colleen McNally. I'm so happy to say she's back on staff with us.
Awesome.
To help out the girls in the finance office. Our employee that we had has moved on to other careers, so we're happy to have her back. And 81 is awarding a contract to AJR Masonry LLC for the Delaware Avenue Curb and Sidewalk Installation Project.
Does anyone on council have anything they'd like to remove for further discussion?
Yes, I would like to remove 78-2024 or 79-2024.
Thank you. Any others? Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of number 79?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Baumiller?
Yes.
Ms. Lambert?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
yes,
And now we'll do number 79, executing an agreement with Jetty Rock Foundation for the use of Veterans Park for the Hop Sauce Festival. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Baumiller?
Yes.
Ms. Lambert?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
I have to abstain.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
yes,
I have a bill list this evening in the amount of $189,499.72. Y'all had a chance to review the bills?
Mhm. Motion to approve the bills.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mrs. Baumiller?
Yes.
Ms. Lambert?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
yes,
Under general discussion, there's two proposed ordinances. The first is changing the fees for tennis and pickleball as recommended by the Parks and Recreation Committee. Council had the chance to review that draft ordinance, and do you have any questions?
No, I was part of it. I know Kitty was. I even spoke to some of the tennis players and I believe the pickleball player, and everybody thought it was fair, especially that we're going to be charging more for people who are out of towners to come and use our facilities. I think it's fine for them to use them, but I think it's fair that if you're a resident homeowner or visitor in Beach Haven, you get a little break.
I agree.
Did the numbers ever come in for the resident, non-resident? I know that you didn't start collecting until
I think we
July.
sold one non-resident pass after it was in effect.
Okay, so this is potentially losing revenue a little bit.
Not really. We didn't know because now the people who bought a season pass for $85, it wasn't 85 last year.
No, it says
Now it's
resident-
going to be 120. So you're going to catch all that.
It says resident went down from $10 to $80 and non-resident went up $10.
Mhm.
I was thinking it was going up higher. I'm not looking at it. Yeah, I just think it's, it's fair. Like I said, I talked to a lot of the tennis players and even some that didn't live in town and they thought it was fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just,
Are you okay with a March 11th introduction and an April 28th effective date?
Yes.
Yes, as long as we don't start selling until after the effective date.
Yes. Okay. The other ordinance is an ordinance prohibiting parking on the west side of Delaware Avenue. Mike, I know you came in and made some changes that we're specifically talking about the parallel parking. We are creating a small area of 12 angled spots. I am waiting to hear back from Bruce about how we should actually word it, but what we're actually doing is prohibiting parallel parking along West Avenue. We're going to allow that angled parking where it's going to be designated. Have any questions about that?
Wait, I'm a little confused. Are you still having parallel parking on the east side?
Correct.
Okay, so it's the parallel parking on the east side and diagonal parking in that reconfigured area in front of the condo on the west side, correct?
Correct.
And how many parking spots are we gaining?
Well, the angled spots is 12.
Right.
How many are we losing?
Well, as it was, right? Well, okay.
If we originally looked at how many, if we prohibited parallel parking on both sides, we were going to lose one, but we're not. We're only prohibiting the parallel on the west side. So we're going to be gaining.
Okay. That's fine. I know it was a safety issue, which I'm fine with. I'm just curious.
Yeah, because it gets very congested down there. And like I said, when I was on patrol, it was very hard to get through that area when an emergency came down because it just blocks off and there's no room to get around anybody. This way, it'll free up almost the whole lane of traffic by removing that, and we won't lose much parking, if any.
Correct.
I know that, Mike, that you've been very helpful in the design of the layout of the parking and you had great input on that. And so I think that it's a much better plan than originally. So I think, thank you for that.
Is there any way we could put a bike lane on West Avenue? That I know there's a lot of bikes on West Avenue. Is that a
Well, I
possibility?
guess we could if we didn't have parking on the east side. But I don't know.
No.
I don't know how could we do that, right? I mean, you were a police officer, you could speak to that better than.
Well, we can look.
It's going to have to be an awful thin bike lane,
Yeah.
but at least it opens it up somewhat. So
Mhm.
you could actually get some bikes down there. The way it is right now, you can't even get bikes down there when you have two cars there.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it's-
agree. I mean, I've ridden my bike down there and it is kind of, and there's a lot of kids riding and often it's hard for the cars to get by as well. So I was just, and I know it's a sort of dangerous spot. But I think
The only
we're
thing I
still
could
in the
say
right
is
direction.
maybe we could wait and see how much room there actually is, whether
I think
there's
that's
room
good.
for bike lane.
great.
Put sidewalks in too, right? So
Yes.
there's a lot going on down there. I don't
Yeah.
know that
Okay, so this introduction won't be until March 11th and the effective date will be April 28th. That's all I have, Kitty.
Okay, at this time, we will open up the floor to public comment. If you're in the room, state your name, come up to the microphone, state your name and address, and if you're on Zoom, raise an electronic hand.
Sue Sharkey, 10 North Delaware Avenue. Am I allowed to ask a question on the Delaware Avenue thing? Okay, can you define that? Is that Pearl Street all the way to,
It's
Nine?
Taylor to Fifth,
thank you.
curbs and sidewalks.
Anyone on Zoom?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, John. I was thinking maybe you weren't gonna get up. I don't know. I know.
John Halprin, 319 Fairview Avenue, Beach Haven. I made the comment at the former meeting, the prior meeting, when the Park and Recreation Committee made their recommendations about the pickleball and tennis fees. We passed an ordinance 2023-18C, which had some increases. And I don't even know whether or not we know the impact that would have before passing another ordinance that would adjust those increases. The presentation, if I recall, estimated the impact to be $9,000 to $12,000. We don't know if the prior ordinance, excuse me, would achieve that $9,000 to $12,000 that we're seeking. So I think maybe we should take a step back, measure that impact, and if a second increase or an adjustment is warranted to achieve the goal of $9,000 to $12,000, then we come back with another ordinance to adjust those fees. That's my first comment. My second comment is, based on what I saw with the Park and Recreation's recommendations in terms of the finances, maybe what we need to do also is consult with our CFO and come up with a budget. And the tennis and pickleball fees will be part of that overall budget to see whether or not, based on other areas or variables in that budget, whether or not we even need a secondary increase. Some of those items that I saw in the presentation were operational and some were capital. If they're capital, it may require floating a bond or have some sort of amortization of those capital funds. So I think in summary, I think we need to step back and maybe review this as a bigger picture park and recreational budget summary that would include the tennis and pickleball fees before asking for a secondary increase, as I said before. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
just not, but it's also, we focused on the season passes, but it's also the daily pass just went up $3 per person. And the non-resident went from, I think they were all 90 to 120. So you're seeing a much bigger increase there too. And I understand what you're saying, John. I think part of it is the fact that we want improvements down there. I know pickleball wants dividers. We want a hydration station, immediate things that hopefully we can pick up through that. I understand what you're saying, but I don't find this too onerous, truthfully.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, then at this time I will ask final remarks by council. I'll start with you, Jamie.
I have nothing to say. This was the shortest meeting in the.
I know,
in
it's
the
like a
history of
world
agenda
record
meetings.
breaker.
Thank you all for coming.
Mike?
I would just like to say happy birthday to all the people that were born on
Oh, I know. I think
February
it's Barry
29th,
Baxter.
because they only
Baxter's
get one
leap year.
birthday every 4
Yeah.
years.
Yep. Yeah. Happy birthday to Barry and speedy recovery. Oh my.
Okay,
Sorry, Jen.
really nothing to say. Daylight savings time's coming up real soon. So next time we'll actually be seeing you a little earlier, I guess. I'm not, however that works. So thank you all for coming.
I'd just like to say welcome back to Colleen McNally. Really happy she's back in the building. And also John brought this to my attention, but like to shout out to the Gables because they were named, I forgot Nancy again, in the top 100 most romantic restaurants in America for 2024, and they're right here in Beach Haven. So that's a great accolade. Top five. Thank you. Top five in the top 100. So congratulations to them. And sorry, Nance, I forget you every time.
All right, I really don't have anything much to say, but you know, happy leap year. I mean, it is kind of exciting, isn't it? It's leap year. Anyways, nice and sunny out here in California, but I miss Beach Haven and I'll be back soon. So everybody enjoy the weekend.
Say hi to Arnie. I see you're at his institute.
I'm actually in Conyers' office at USC. There's a big life-size statue of Arnie in here, but
I'm sure there is.
Conyers is
Thank-
heading tomorrow to Ohio for Arnie's weightlifting deal. So anyway.
Fun.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you all.
All right. Thank you. All right, well then, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Thanks, Mike. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I
Bye,
just wanted
Nance.
to-